What if the greatest mystery in the ancient world isn't in Egypt or Jerusalem,
Baalbek, which is located in Lebanon, and I had the great privilege of going there.
but buried deep in Lebanon, hidden in plain sight?
This block and another two are actually far older than the Roman period.
Towering above the ancient landscape of Baalbek are some of the most colossal stones ever placed by human hands.
It was the view, very firm view of archaeologists, that there had been no megalithic architecture. When I say megalithic, I mean literally big stones, stone circles, huge constructions, nothing like that before 6,000 years ago.
Blocks so massive that even modern engineers struggle to explain how they were moved.
This is Baalbek in the Lebanon. Each of these three blocks weighs 900 tons.
Like, what is the weight of that? What's the overall weight?
That's 1.7 million pounds.
For centuries, historians believed they were simply the foundations of grand Roman temples. But new investigations suggest something far stranger. Hidden beneath the ruins lies a structure whose scale, precision, and purpose raise unsettling questions.
Baalbek, which is located in Lebanon, and I had the great privilege of going there in September of last year, exactly 1 month before things kicked off in Israel. But Baalbek, if there was one example, one ancient site on Earth that is evidence of a lost, ancient, advanced civilization.
So, was this monument truly built for human use? Or does Baalbek conceal a deeper mystery we are only beginning to understand?
This is Baalbek in the Lebanon, and undoubtedly a Roman temple here. Temple of Jupiter that I'm sitting in, and behind it the Temple of Bacchus, dedicated to wine. Those Romans knew how to have fun. A Roman site for sure.
The ancient foundation. That even the Romans couldn't build every year. Thousands of tourists flock to Baalbek, cameras in hand, eager to admire the colossal Roman ruins. They marvel at the towering columns of the Temple of Jupiter, snap pictures of intricate Corinthian capitals, and walk the marble steps of a city that once drew pilgrims from across the empire. Classic Roman architecture dazzles them at every turn, and most leave convinced they've witnessed the pinnacle of human engineering. But what few realize is that almost everything they see sits atop a mystery far older and far more massive than the Romans themselves. The foundations of these temples are unlike anything else in the ancient world. Massive stone blocks, some weighing up to 1,650 tons, form a platform so precise that not even a razor blade can fit between the joints. Seismic engineering embedded into the structure predates modern understanding by thousands of years, and yet not a single inscription, coin, or record survives claiming Roman involvement in the construction. Every deeper excavation, every painstaking measurement, points to a single unavoidable conclusion. Whoever built this foundation was not constructing for human-scale temples. They were building for something entirely different, something demanding a scale and precision that still defies explanation. This is the paradox of Baalbek. The Romans arrived around 15 BC, renaming the city Heliopolis, the city of the sun. They transformed it into one of their grandest religious complexes, pouring fortunes into temples, plazas, and monumental stairways. The Temple of Jupiter alone once featured 54 columns standing 22 meters tall, each composed of 3 massive drums crowned with elaborately carved Corinthian capitals. Every inch screams Roman pride, intricate friezes, imperial symbols, architectural dominance. The site became one of the largest religious complexes in the Roman world, attracting pilgrims, dignitaries, and emperors eager to leave their mark. Yet beneath this Roman grandeur lies a foundation built with completely different techniques, philosophy, and scale. The Romans, masters of self-promotion and meticulous record-keeping, left no documentation claiming the construction of these colossal stones. Think about that for a moment. The Romans documented everything: roads, aqueducts, bridges, repairs, even minor administrative projects. Emperors and generals competed for recognition, carving inscriptions and spending fortunes to immortalize their achievements. And yet, for the heaviest stones ever moved in the ancient world, there is complete silence. No credit, no records, nothing. Dr. Klaus Schmidt, who dedicated over 2 decades to studying ancient Near Eastern construction, highlighted the impossibility. He argued that if the Romans had truly moved these stones, some evidence, inscriptions, records, even casual mentions, would have survived. The absence of documentation is itself telling. The Romans were meticulous and proud. They would have celebrated this achievement. Their silence suggests a truth that challenges everything we think we know about the origins of Baalbek's platform. And while researchers have long studied the temples themselves, what lies beneath the western wall of the platform only deepens the mystery. Compared to the engineering of the foundations, Roman construction looks rudimentary, almost childlike. The deeper we examine the stones, the more impossible it becomes to reconcile human hands with their movement and placement. The scale, the precision, the technology, all point towards something otherworldly, something far beyond human capability. The missing records were just the tip of the iceberg. What researchers uncovered at the Western Wall revealed construction feats so astonishing, even Roman engineering looks like child's play in comparison. Stay tuned to discover the secrets that have stunned experts and rewritten history. The trilithon that defies human engineering. At the western edge of Baalbek lies one of the most confounding wonders of the ancient world. The trilithon, 3 massive stone blocks forming the foundation of the platform beneath the Roman temples. Each block stretches roughly 19 meters long, over 4 meters high, and nearly 4 meters deep, with an estimated weight between 800 and 1,000 tons. To grasp the scale, consider this. The largest stones in the Great Pyramid weigh about 80 tons. Stonehenge's iconic megaliths tip the scales at 25 tons. The Parthenon, around 10 tons per block. These trilithon stones tower over all of them, 10 times heavier than the pyramids, 40 times heavier than Stonehenge, and nearly 100 times heavier than the Parthenon. And yet, they are not lying on the ground. Someone, long before Roman eyes gazed upon the site, lifted them roughly 7 meters into the air and positioned them with millimeter precision. The joints between the stones are so perfect that a single sheet of paper cannot pass between them. No mortar, no filler, just stone meeting stone with an accuracy that would make modern engineers uneasy. Dr. Jean-Pierre Adam, a French archaeologist who spent 3 years meticulously documenting the site, was blunt. "I've studied Roman construction my entire career. I know every tool, every technique, every shortcut. This isn't Roman. I don't know what it is, but I know what it isn't." His colleague, Professor Daniel Ullmann of the German Archaeological Institute, a structural engineer with decades of experience building bridges, dams, and skyscrapers across 3 continents, went silent when he examined the joints. Laser measurements, repeated with multiple instruments, confirmed it. The tolerances were tighter than anything modern engineers achieve with diamond-tipped cutters and computer-guided machinery. Whoever built this either had technology far beyond our knowledge, or patience and skill beyond imagination. But the trilithon was only the beginning. In 2014, a German-Lebanese team conducting routine excavations near the ancient quarry made a discovery that would shatter everything. Ground-penetrating radar revealed a massive block buried in the bedrock. Dr. Janine Abdel-Massi's team dug for weeks, uncovering a single stone over 19 meters long, 6 meters wide, and nearly 6 meters deep. Estimated weight, 1,650 tons. A single monolith, still attached to the quarry. Partially carved, precision cut on 3 sides, ready for transport that never came. To visualize this, imagine 3 fully loaded Boeing 747s stacked atop each other, heavier than the Statue of Liberty, heavier than 2 space shuttles combined, heavier than anything humans have ever moved in recorded history. And this was not an isolated stone. Nearby rested the famed Stone of the Pregnant Woman, another 1,000-ton block that has puzzled researchers for centuries. Beneath the 2014 discovery, a third, even larger stone lay hidden. Someone quarried these stones. Someone cut them with unmatched precision using unknown methods. Someone planned to move them nearly a kilometer across uneven terrain, lift them into place, and integrate them into a structure so enormous it dwarfs everything else. And then, they stopped. Tools abandoned, work unfinished, stones left in place or mid-extraction. No trace of why. No record of what halted this monumental effort. What force or event could interrupt a civilization capable of planning, quarrying, and partially installing such enormous megaliths? Every block, every cut, Every millimeter-perfect joint hints at a level of engineering, planning, and execution that makes modern technology seem primitive. The scale, the weight, the precision, it all points to a purpose we can barely imagine. And yet, for reasons still unknown, the work halted, leaving one of history's greatest mysteries frozen in stone. What kind of catastrophe hits so unexpectedly that it leaves your greatest achievement abandoned, half-finished, and forgotten in the dust? And when experts finally examined the engineering behind it, what they discovered made every other marvel you've seen before feel like nothing more than a mere rehearsal. Let's break it down. Baalbek's engineering impossibility. Stones beyond human capability. To truly understand the mystery of Baalbek, we need to confront the brutal realities of engineering. The stones forming the platform beneath the Roman temples aren't just large, they are unimaginably massive. The largest, the trilithon blocks, weigh between 800 and 1,000 tons each. Moving such a block today would challenge the most powerful cranes in existence. The Typhoon crane in China, one of the world's strongest lifting machines, can handle about 1,200 tons, but only under perfect conditions: flat, prepared terrain, stable foundations, and teams of engineers carefully monitoring every movement. Now imagine trying that in ancient Lebanon. No steel cables, no hydraulic systems, no reinforced roads, no modern cranes. The terrain between the quarry and the temple is rocky, uneven, full of gullies and obstacles. Some have proposed using cedar logs as rollers, since Lebanon was famous for its cedars. But here's the problem. An 800-ton stone resting on cedar logs would instantly crush and splinter, them under hundreds of tons per square inch of pressure. To move a single block, you'd need thousands of logs, and tens of thousands of people pulling ropes stronger than any evidence we have survives today. Every single movement would have to be perfect. One mistake, one misalignment, one broken log, and the stone could be ruined, or someone killed. And that's only moving the stones horizontally. Lifting them 7 meters into the air and positioning them with millimeter accuracy against existing megaliths pushes the task far beyond even the most optimistic estimates of Bronze Age capabilities. Dr. Robert Schull, a geologist at Boston University who has spent decades studying ancient construction, summarized it bluntly. The math doesn't work. No matter how many hands you throw at it, no matter how long you take, the physics don't permit what we're seeing. Something else, something we don't understand, was at play here. But even the sheer weight and logistics are only the beginning. The cutting of the stones presents another puzzle that leaves modern experts speechless. Dr. Gerd Koppler, a German engineer specializing in ancient construction techniques, spent nearly a year analyzing the tool marks on Baalbek's foundation stones. What he found defied everything known about Roman craftsmanship. Roman masons left predictable chisel marks, distinct angles, regular spacing, consistent patterns on every structure in the empire. Archaeologists can recognize them instantly. At Baalbek, however, the surfaces of the megaliths are unnervingly smooth, nearly flawless. The marks suggest the use of abrasive cutting or wire saw-like techniques, yet there is no record that the Romans possessed anything resembling such technology. Modern diamond wire saws leave microscopic striations on stone, but the Baalbek blocks show almost none. Dr. Koppler struggled to put it into words. Someone cut these stones using technology we cannot identify. This is not a small anomaly or a missing piece of Roman history. It's an engineering enigma that challenges everything we assume about ancient construction. The sheer impossibility of moving these stones, combined with the inexplicable precision of their cutting, leaves us staring at a truth too vast for conventional explanations. Every step, the quarrying, the transport, the placement, points to knowledge and capability that exceed what any human civilization should have been able to accomplish at the time. And yet, despite centuries of study, the stones remain perfectly aligned, immovable, and silent about who created them or why. Every measure we take, every calculation we make, only deepens the mystery. Which brings us to the next layer of Baalbek's enigma: how these massive stones were made to endure millennia of earthquakes without shifting, cracking, or toppling. Could it be that the builders of Baalbek understood forces that we are only now beginning to comprehend? Stay tuned. Baalbek's seismic secret Lebanon sits squarely on one of the most active seismic fault lines in the entire Mediterranean. The Dead Sea transform slices through the region, a constant reminder of Earth's restless tectonic plates. Over thousands of years, major earthquakes have struck again and again, leveling cities, reshaping coastlines, and claiming tens of thousands of lives. The Roman temples above Baalbek's famous platform have not escaped this fate. Of the original 54 massive columns that once soared skyward, only 6 remain standing, and even those require modern steel reinforcements to survive. Now consider the foundation beneath them, the trilithon, and the other colossal megaliths. Over 2 millennia of relentless seismic activity, not a single massive stone has budged. No cracks, no shifts, no measurable movement. Let that sink in. Cities crumbled. Entire civilizations trembled beneath the earth. Yet these stones, each weighing hundreds or even over 1,000 tons, have remained perfectly in place. Researchers were baffled. To understand why, they turned to 3-dimensional laser scanning. What they found was nothing short of astonishing. The stones interlock using an advanced system that allows controlled micro-movements during earthquakes, just enough to absorb seismic energy without damaging the structure. The joints flex, then return to their original positions. Modern engineers call this base isolation, considered the pinnacle of earthquake-resistant design. We only developed it in the 1970s for our most sophisticated buildings. But at Baalbek, it was implemented thousands of years earlier, at a scale that still challenges modern capabilities. Dr. Marwan Nader, a structural engineer from the American University of Beirut, described the discovery as a revelation. "We thought we had invented these principles in modern engineering," he said. "Yet someone at Baalbek knew them millennia before us and applied them to stones, heavier than any crane we can lift today. And here is where the mystery deepens. The scale of the foundation is absurd, almost laughably disproportionate to any known temple in recorded history. No Roman, Greek, Egyptian, or Mesopotamian temple required anything like it. The sophistication of the engineering exceeds anything these civilizations could have achieved by thousands of years. Even more confounding, the construction abruptly stops. Stones were precision cut and left abandoned in the quarry, as if the workers simply walked away mid-shift. Then there's the weathering. The patterns on the foundation stones reveal far more erosion than the Roman structures above them. In other words, the base is measurably older than the temples that sit atop it. The evidence is clear. This wasn't Roman work. The platform was built by a civilization whose identity has vanished, likely during the Bronze Age or even earlier. They possessed engineering knowledge that would be lost to history, only to be inherited later by the Romans, who placed their temples on top without ever understanding how it had been built, or how to replicate it. This explains the silence in Roman records. Emperors boasted of bridges, aqueducts, and monumental buildings across the empire. They chronicled every triumph, yet there is not a single inscription, coin, or document claiming credit for Baalbek's foundation. That's because they didn't build it. They couldn't build it. It was already there, a silent masterpiece from a civilization that time has erased, a puzzle of massive stones and impossible precision that still defies explanation. Every scan, every measurement, every analysis points to the same unnerving conclusion. Someone, long before the Romans arrived, constructed something on a scale and with a level of engineering intelligence that challenges everything we know about human history. What secrets lie beneath this ancient site? Why did every civilization converge? Here, building stones that have survived millennia and earthquakes far beyond our modern capacity? Let's uncover the extraordinary facts behind a foundation that defies every explanation modern engineering can offer. Baalbek's prehistoric puzzle. As researchers expanded their radar surveys at Baalbek, the mystery only deepened. Beneath the famous Roman temples, the foundation extends far deeper than anyone had realized. Entire layers of massive stonework remain buried, hidden for thousands of years, waiting for a full excavation that current resources simply cannot allow. What lies beneath may forever remain a secret. Limited seasonal digs by international teams have revealed only fragments, leaving the complete story tantalizingly out of reach. What we do know paints a staggering picture. Human habitation at Baalbek stretches back at least 9,000 years, millennia before the first Roman soldier even set foot in Lebanon. Ancient cultures, long erased from the pages of history, built, lived, and worshipped here. Every civilization recognized the significance of this place. The Phoenicians called it Baal, city of the god Baal, a location where divine forces were believed to descend. The Greeks renamed it Heliopolis, the city of the sun, linking it to their most powerful gods. Later, the Romans built their most ambitious temple complex here, deliberately choosing this spot above all others in the Eastern Empire. But why? What is it about this exact location that drew every culture across millennia to construct monuments upon it? Perhaps they saw or understood something we are only now beginning to glimpse, a truth hidden in the stones beneath our feet. Walk the site today, and you can feel it yourself. Place your hands on these foundation stones, each heavier than anything humans have documented moving in recorded history. Run your fingers along the impossibly tight joints, tighter than modern manufacturing tolerances allow. Stand beneath blocks, whose sheer scale defies comprehension, and sense the weight of a mystery that has stumped engineers for generations. Modern laser equipment verifies the precision of the cuts. Geological surveys confirm the colossal weight of each stone. Structural engineers continue to marvel at the ingenuity, unable to explain how ancient builders achieved such perfection. The tool marks suggest methods entirely unknown to history. The seismic engineering predates modern earthquake science by thousands of years. Yet the most perplexing question isn't how these stones were moved or positioned. It's why anyone would need a foundation of such unimaginable scale. What kind of structure demanded blocks heavier than our strongest cranes can lift, engineered to withstand earthquakes for millennia? Who built something so massive, so precise, and so advanced that it dwarfs everything else humans have ever accomplished? The Romans didn't claim credit, and perhaps that's the clearest clue of all. The foundation stones predate their temples. The techniques used do not match anything found elsewhere in the vast Roman Empire. The precision surpasses what even modern computer-guided machinery can achieve. The builders left no names, no records, no monuments, vanishing without a trace, leaving only the impossible stones behind. For over a century, mainstream archaeology insisted on conventional explanations. Romans with enough manpower, enough time, enough determination. But engineers running the calculations arrive at the same inevitable conclusion. The physics, the math, the sheer scale make that impossible. What we are witnessing is undeniable evidence. A civilization, now lost to time, once existed with technology and engineering far beyond anything we associate with the ancient world. They cut, transported, and positioned megaliths larger than anything else in human history. They understood structural engineering in ways humanity would not rediscover until the modern era. And then, they disappeared. Completely. Gone. Leaving behind only the silent, unyielding foundation at Baalbek, a remnant of knowledge, skill, and ambition lost to history, waiting for someone to unravel its secrets. So, what aspect of this structure fascinates you the most? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.